Hello, I'm Dean Martin with Transmission Digest. Welcome to the Transtar Industries studios here at Babcox Media.
So Mike, we have a couple things we want to talk about here today, but one of them is, overall, what should shops be doing when they may have gotten a transmission in yesterday and they rebuilt it, everything was fine. They get this a car that's maybe a year older, or a year newer model, and they go to do the same thing and it doesn't work. The parts have changed, something's going on. Is there anything, any way that shops can get ahead of this?
Yeah, rule number one, never assume anything. When you rebuild a transmission, you may have been building them for 15 years. It doesn't mean things are not going to change. Things are constantly changing, even for fairly popular transmissions, let alone some of the newer applications. So anytime you go to acquire a part, you have to make sure it is the design that you think it is, that it hasn't been changed and affected other components.
Right. Well, like this GM 4L60E, they talk about the input carrier change. From 07, they had a change there. So, things like that. Are you saying they should be looking at your catalog and memorizing this stuff, or should they look it up as they're doing the build? Or
you can't memorize it. And for instance, that change that occurred on the 4L60E that affected the ring gear hub, bearing, and planetary carrier, that was a decision by General Motors to make a change, I'm sure for assembly reasons at the plant. Builder is not going to memorize all this, but a builder needs to know that if I'm going to change parts, I need to be aware of what could be available. You can go to the tech services like ATRA, ATSG. Your supplier catalog is a good source of information.
Right.
Even if it's a fairly common transmission, always refer to that material to make sure nothing has been changed. And if it is, at least you're going to be aware of it. So you look at one part, yes, it's been updated. Has it affected other components in that transmission?
Yeah.
So any type of update has occurred, always make sure that other components have or have not been affected.
And like you say, this transmission has been around since the 80s, right? And they've gone through various updates and changes. So, you can't just assume because you've done previous models that it's going to be the same.
Yes. When a builder does a new transmission, he's really conscientious about what could have changed.
Right.
Something that he's been building for a long time, he gets acclimated to it.
Right.
And gets complacent.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oops.
That's when it catches you.
Yeah. Not to mention hard parts or electrical components. Good example. A lot of changes, subtle changes occur, and you really have to be on top of it to make sure you don't create an issue.
So having those services, the data available to you is very important.
Absolutely. But even having them available, you also have to utilize them.
Right. Using it is the key, for sure. Okay, well, thank you, Mike, for being here and for your valuable insights. We really appreciate it. And
thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching.